All right, guys. So ever since Roe v. Wade was overturned, obviously the left has lost their minds. Okay, we've seen the absolute worst of the left ever since they took that L from the Supreme Court. And from the right, conservatives, for the most part, we've been pretty happy, okay? Because we've argued the whole time that this is a states' rights issue. And even though we're not getting everything that we want in regards to being able to control abortion in blue states, it's okay because, again, we can do what we want in our states. And I think most people were happy with that, except Lindsey Graham decided that this, in fact, is not a states' rights issue anymore.
Tuesday morning, we sit just 7 weeks until the midterm elections, and Republican candidates in some of the Senate's most vulnerable swing state races stand divided over Senator Lindsey Graham's bill banning abortions at 15 weeks.
The South Carolina senator on the couch. Senator, so you have some people that are supportive of you, of this move by the Republican Party: Herschel Walker, Blake Masters, Marco Rubio, Ted Budd, KG, Laxalt, J.D. Vance, and Mehmet Oz, and against Ron Johnson, Don Bolduc, and Joe O'Dea.
I hope they all win. Joe O'Dea is pro-choice. If he came up to Washington, he would secure the border. He would be helpful to the cops. He would stop rampant inflation. He would stop hiring 87,000 IRS agents. I'm not a single-issue voter, but I am pro-life. Let me say this. What should we be saying? The Democratic Party, every member of the Democratic Party voted to allow taxpayer-funded abortion up to the moment of birth, like China and North Korea. You know what all those people have in common? They would not vote to abort babies up to the moment of birth using taxpayer dollars. To the Republican Party, I am proudly pro-life. There's no shame in being pro-life. The shame here is to have policies in America like China and North Korea, and I will fight with my last breath to keep this country from being a nation that would abort a baby up to the moment of birth, and every Democratic senator voted for that proposition. My position is 15 weeks. France is at 14 weeks, exceptions for rape, incest, life of the mother, and states can do more if they want to, up to 15 weeks. I want to be a nation that's civilized. I don't want to be China. I don't want to be North Korea when it comes to the unborn.
You know, Senator, there are so many Republicans who are pro-life, but there are also a lot of Republicans who believe in federalism and states' rights and on things like deciding their own laws on abortion.
Sure.
And this federal abortion ban would go against that.
This is not a states' rights issue. This is a human right issue. At 15 weeks, a baby sucks its thumb. At 20 weeks, you're encouraged to sing to a child because
Which is what I am right now. I'm 20 weeks.
She's 20 weeks, folks. I don't care what California does on most things. I care here. I am not going to sit on the sidelines in Washington, D.C. and tell the pro-life community Washington is closed for business.
Yeah, so regardless of how you feel about Lindsey Graham's proposal, specifically in reference to the Republicans' chances in the midterms, there are people out there in the Democrat Party that do kind of believe in abortion up until birth. And one of those people is Stacey Abrams, who went on The View to basically double down on that position.
Of course. Now, if you were watching us before you came out, we've been discussing the Supreme Court's overturning of Roe v. Wade. And I wanted to get a sense of, Governor Kemp had signed into law in 2019 a ban on abortion after 6 weeks. Growing up, you were anti-abortion, in my understanding. You're now pro-choice. You've been outspoken about that. Do you think there should be any legal limits on abortion, such as the third trimester or viability?
I believe that abortion is a medical decision, not a political decision.
Thank you.
And arbitrary politically defined timelines are deeply problematic because they ignore the reality of medical and physiological issues. For example, a 6-week ban tells women they have to make reproductive choices before they know they're pregnant.
Yeah.
And that arbitrariness extends into these artificial timelines. What I believe is that it's a decision that should be made between a woman and her doctor, that viability is the metric, and that if a woman's health or life is in danger, then viability extends until the time of birth.
Yeah, so there you have it. Stacey Abrams stating that she believes in some cases that women should be able to have an abortion up until birth. Okay, that is what she says. Now, regardless of how you feel about her positions and the nuances of her positions. Her and Lindsey Graham's positions kind of represent the extremes in regards to where both parties are now at on this issue. Okay, and a lot of people are obviously somewhere in between. But what I want to talk about here today, guys, is an absolutely insane statement that was made by Stacey Abrams during a recent talk on this subject. A statement that, in my opinion, is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, okay, on her part. But before I get into that, I just want to let you guys know, if you like my channel and you want to support my channel, you can check out my merch, my Donkey Pox shirts, the disease that is affecting America, or my hashtag no days off / hard work patriotic t-shirts, or my MAGA Hub shirts, or my racist mugs, a daily reminder of the 2022 definition of racist according to the Democrat Party. You can check out my cool merch at my website, gforemanbcp.com. Get 20% off using discount code gforemanbcp. So without further ado, let's play this clip of Stacey Abrams making the claim that a heartbeat in an embryo does not exist at 6 weeks. That sound is actually just sexism. It is actually just the sound of men wanting to control women's bodies. Take a listen.
There is no such thing as a heartbeat at 6 weeks. It is a manufactured sound designed to convince people that men have the right to take control of a woman's body away from her.
Yeah, so you heard it at first, guys. The believe the science, trust the science Democrat Party doesn't seem to want to trust or believe the science when it comes to this issue of abortion, right? Or whether or not life begins at conception. They want to throw science out the window anytime it comes to this conversation right here. But when it comes to, and the gender conversation as well too, they want to throw science out the window when it comes to that. But when it comes to other things like the pandemic, right? If you don't go along with their not really scientifically validated positions, then you must be anti-science, right? You must be anti-science. Again, it's amazing how that works. As Stacey Abrams says that there is no heartbeat at 6 weeks old, okay, which is just objectively wrong. There is a heartbeat. The heart starts to form around 4 to 6 weeks, okay, and it can be heard then. We know that for a fact, right? We know that for a fact. That's a scientific fact. But don't, again, let the scientific facts get in the way of the narrative here from Stacey Abrams, in which she says that this sound is not, the sound from the ultrasound, the instruments, it's not that. It is a manufactured sound because of sexism. Yes, sexism. It comes from sexism, right? The sound that you hear of a baby's heart is sexism, according to Stacey Abrams. That is the sound of men wanting to take control of women's bodies. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Just when you thought that you heard the most insane takes ever from the left, you always get a new one. It never stops. It never stops. They will find a way to blame racism or sexism for anything, okay? Anything. I don't like the fact that a baby's heart beats at 6 weeks old. That goes against my narrative that life doesn't begin at conception. Life begins where I think it begins, right? Life begins at birth. That goes against that. So therefore, I'm just going to say it doesn't exist. I'm just going to deny scientific reality and facts and say that it is sexism, right? It is sexism for you to state a scientific fact. Even if you heard it or you saw it with an ultrasound, it's sexism, right? It must be sexism. It can't be reality, okay? Again, this just is another example of the dangerous trend for the Democrat Party to completely distort reality and science to fit their narrative and then turn around and repackage it and peddle it as if it is scientifically factual when it's not. It's nothing but narrative, okay? Again, these people are insane. And, and it's one thing for you to sit here and say, you know what? Life does begin at conception. These are human beings, but at the end of the day, we just feel like as women, we should have this right, okay? I can honestly understand that argument. I might disagree with it, but I can understand it. What you don't need to do is deny what is obviously a life, right? You don't need to deny that they're actually a living organism in order to support your position, but that is what they're doing. They're denying life and scientific facts in order to support their position, which tells you how weak their position actually is, and they know how weak their position is. So, hey, let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.